Welcome to the Shannon Atchison Show, real business talk for real life. I'm Shannon, creative business coach, digital product lover, and your strategy sidekick. I've built a business that fits my life, and now I help other women do the same. No hustle, no fluff, just smart, honest conversations about building a business that works for you. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have my friend Kennedy here from Email Marketing Heroes, and we are going to talk about all things email today. So, Kennedy, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here.
Hey, Shannon. Lovely to see you.
You too. So, can you, I know that you have an official bio that, that you have that people can read, but I kind of like to have my guests introduce themselves just to hear about sort of who you are and how you got into this space a little bit.
I hate talking about myself.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's a British thing. What's interesting? I don't know if any of it's interesting. I think, so to set the frame for any of the stuff we're about to talk about, I think, I've been selling stuff, products and services online for over a decade, maybe close to 2 decades now. Definitely since before you could tick or talk. Before you could, back when uploading a video to the internet was difficult because YouTube didn't exist yet.
Right.
So, back in those days. And so what I got really good at is figuring out, okay, yeah, we can grow an email list. We know we should all be doing that. We know that the most successful entrepreneurs all say, hey, you have to own the data, get people into an email list so you can communicate with them, bring in leads, rather than just hoping that the algorithm on social favors you that afternoon.
Yeah.
So we should definitely build an email list. We know that. That's great. We should have offers. We should have products and services and different things, ways we can help people. But there's this chasm in the middle of how do we get more of the people who we have attracted to buy the things that we've created. And I got good at that because I was never really able to grow a huge email list, and that was mostly because I was in a micro niche where there wasn't a huge audience for what I was doing, and so I got really good at really mining for gold inside of our email list. And it's a good job because if you look at with AI and everything else going on, the cost of getting advertising out there, bringing in new subscribers, not just like if you're advertising, but getting people to move from a free platform onto your email list. People aren't as quick to jump onto your email list anymore. So we have to make more of the people who we have on our email list. So that's what I've been doing. I started Marketing Heroes about 7 years ago, something like that. I've been really lucky. Like, I get to work with awesome people every day in all kinds of niches: coaches, course creators, experts. We've helped just over 8,400 different paying clients to make more sales using what they've already got right under their noses. And as you can tell, I care deeply and passionately about doing that.
Yeah. And honestly, that's how I found you, because there are so many things about like build your email list, right? Like how to get people on it, right? Like regardless of anything, there's ads, there's social, there's all the things. There's so many like courses or teachings on how to get people on the list. But then it's like, well, what the heck do you do with them once they're on the list, right? Like I get the point, but there is, like you said, that big chasm between those two things. And that's how I found you originally, was like, I was specifically looking for that online earlier this year. So how did you end up teaching? Like, I know that you say that it's important, obviously, we all know this, but like, what's the story of how you ended up teaching email? Because you said you were selling other things before, right? I think you were like in the performing like magic niche or something like that. So you're selling things there. What was sort of the thought process or the decision or whatever that made you switch from that to focusing on email so much?
Yeah, so I ended up teaching other performers how to get, like, people who want to be magicians or whatever they want, entertainers. They all wanted to have more gigs so they could actually get paid what they're worth and support their families with that passion that they want to turn into a profession. So it was a very, very micro niche within a niche, right? And so I started putting on conferences. I created a membership. I created a coaching program, all helping those people. And I remember somebody messaged me and said, hey, I've got this event. We could do with somebody coming to talk about marketing. Would you come and talk about marketing? And there was all kinds of there was somebody talking about productivity. There was somebody talking about sales and also lots of different finance and all these kind of things. And I thought, yeah, okay, of all of marketing, which bit shall I talk about? And I started talking about something specific around sending emails and making sales from email, because one of the things I love about it, and one of the things I talk a lot about on my podcast, the Email Marketing Show, is we talk a lot about the fact that I could be sitting on the balcony on my vacation, on my holiday, or I could be waiting to do something. I could be between tasks from anywhere in the world on my laptop, and I could fire off an email that I write once, and it goes out to tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people, and I can help those people. And then I can also bring in sales for the business and make sales that allow me to do all these lovely things. And that's really struck me as there's nothing else you can do that's just like that, where you own the data. So I'm not thinking, oh gosh, do stories perform better than reels right now? Or is it Facebook groups or Facebook pages? Or should I be TikToking? Or should I, I don't have to think about any of that stuff. I literally open the laptop up, fire off an email. That email pops up on people's phones around the world. And I can help them, and I can serve them, and I can bring in sales. And so that's when that sort of became really important to me, and realizing nobody else really owns that space. There's other people who are very much about, here's how to build your business on Instagram, and here's how to build your business on YouTube, and here's how to build a coaching business. But nobody really was sharing up-to-date what is working right now strategies for email. And in particular, the thing that I'm lucky in that my background is in psychology and understanding human behavior. So applying that to email, not having to just beat people over the head or use complicated automations and complicated technology, just instead using psychology. And that's the bigger lift for it all.
Right. And I think that's the difference too. If you teach it from that perspective, right? That people aren't just, one of the things I love is that a lot of times if you're trying to get more sales, people are like, well, just have a sale, reduce your prices kind of thing, and people will buy. But you teach a lot about the psychology of sales and marketing, and that's not the trigger for everyone. There are I don't know, 7 or 9 different triggers, I think you said at one point. there's a lot of different things. And that's, I think that's what, my next question was sort of what makes you this email thing works differently than other people think, right? You teach it from that perspective, right? With the psychology.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think, and there's a reason. I'll tell you why that is. Actually, it's not everyone's fault. It's just the way it turned out, right? It's the reason that a lot of people think email marketing, they think is about the words that are in the email. It's about being a copywriter, writing persuasive copy. And the reason that that's come about as what email marketing is, which it's not, by the way, but the copy is just one of the elements that makes email marketing. It's a bit like I trained as an actor, right? So when you get a piece of text, if you're going to learn the script, the words are one thing, but how you say them is everything else. It was this exercise we used to do in drama school, which was it's called My Grandmother's False Teeth. No, your grandmother's false teeth. Sorry.
Okay.
And basically what you would do is you would take that phrase, your grandmother's false teeth, and the phrase is, I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth. And what you do is you put emphasis on different words in the sentence. And that's to prove that it's the emphasis, it's the highlights, it's how you say stuff, when you say things, that really makes the difference. Quick example, if I say, I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth, you're implying you know who did. Whereas if I say I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth, you're implying you borrowed them. Right. If you say I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth, you're committing a very different crime.
Yep. That's
I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth.
Right.
Was it her false leg? Was
Right.
So I think it's your grandmother's false teeth. And it's amazing that email marketing has been really perceived as the words we put in the emails. Well, and the reason that's happened, like I said, it's not anyone's fault. It's because the people who mostly have taught email marketing over the years happen to be copywriters and sales writers who are naturally applying that skill to email. Of course, they're going to take the skills that they've got. What I am is one of the very, very, very few people who are legitimate email marketing strategists. Copy is one of the elements. Like, if we didn't have the phrase, I didn't steal your grandmother's false teeth, we wouldn't have the words to say. But it's one element. But what we haven't got is who we're saying it to. What we haven't got there is what's the emphasis. We haven't got what came before it or what came after it. We haven't got a lot of the pieces of the puzzle. We haven't got the strategic elements. And like anything, what you say makes up a very small percentage of the meaning and the impact that it has. Like, we've all had those conversations with people when you say, hey, how are you? And they say, I'm fine. Those two words, right?
Yes.
Or, I'm fine, or I am fine. Like, there's so many different ways we could say that phrase. And so, but yet we've put so much emphasis on these words. And the good news is, once you realize email marketing is actually not really about the words, that means you don't have to be a good writer. Well, I'm pleased about that, because that's another skill we don't have to learn.
Right. Which is so true, because I've taken copywriting courses, and even though I've, written 2 books and whatever, like, I write things, I write a blog.
You're a great writer, yeah.
Those copywriting things kill me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's too much. It's too much. But I know a lot of creators avoid email because it seems salesy, and they sort of just, this happens a lot in like my space in the blogging, in my other business in the blogging world, right? Like, we send emails when we remember, like a newsletter, or here's like 50 links that I've shared lately or whatever. Like, what's the biggest, is it what we talked about, the copywriting, whatever? Like, what's the biggest myth you wish you could wipe from everyone's brain about email? Is it that part that it's not about copywriting? Or is it something else?
I think the main thing is, like, people think it's about the writing, and it really isn't. Like, I just write how I talk. And that means that when people receive my emails, they're like, oh my, I can hear your voice in my head. Like, if you watch my YouTube show, the email marketing show, you'll hear my voice, you'll see my face. And then if you read my emails from afterwards, you'll go, oh, I can hear your voice in my head. That's just because I literally write how I talk, which means I don't have to master proper writing technique. My English teacher would freaking hate my emails. Like, she would be very disappointed and say some words I didn't understand, I'm sure. So that is definitely the biggest thing. And I think this idea of, like, selling, okay, well, let's unpack that for a second. Because, and here's a harsh coaching moment for many people. And I have to remind myself of this, by the way, because I don't enjoy selling. I really don't.
We've talked about this.
Selling.
Yeah, I hate selling. Yeah.
But here's the thing. A business is sales. Like, if you don't have sales in a business, you don't have a business. It's okay, by the way, not to have a business. That's okay. Yeah. If you want to go and do stuff that is, you've got a blog, or you've got a content channel, your YouTube channel, your podcast, your whatever, your Instagram, and you are getting joy from it, and it's fulfilling you in a non-financial way, there are many more fulfilling things than finance. Like, I really am not motivated by money at all. Like, it doesn't interest me whatsoever. What does motivate me is experiences and having choice that I give my family, that I get to take my niece, my nephew, and my sister away for a week on holiday to have just once-in-a-lifetime experiences. That's why I do it. But I have to remember, and we all have to remember, that in order to do that, we have to make sales.
Yeah.
And so there are some activities in our businesses where we have to make sales. Otherwise, we don't have a business. Now, of course, to make money, to live your life, to do the things you want to do, there's various things you can do. One of them is have your own business, which makes sales. The other one is have a job and have some other stuff you do, which is just for fun. Like, there's some of my hobbies that I don't turn into work, so I don't have to make sales of those things. Like, I'm learning to DJ and play dance music. I'm not going to try and get gigs because that's a sales job I don't want to have, but that's not a business. That's a hobby. If your blog is about something you love and you're good at and you don't want to make sales, then good news. That's a hobby. You don't have to make it into a business. But the things that you are designing to make money from, that's a business, which means we have to make sales. And the number one, this is not me saying this, is me regurgitating and sharing with you what the clever people say, the business gurus say, which is email marketing is the highest return on investment activity every business can do. Every business. Like, everyone's trying on Facebook to get, like, spend $1, make $1.20 back.
Yeah.
But for every dollar you spend on email marketing, you make between 20 and 45 back.
Right.
Like, the difference there is huge. And your ability to keep talking to people and not pay more for that through that channel on email is huge. So what we've got to remember is every single thing we want to do in our business is easier if we just realize email marketing is the answer, right? And let me explain that.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to, when I launched my new YouTube channel only a few months ago, we've had a podcast for years and years and years, like 280 something episodes of the email marketing show, but only audio.
Right.
And then back in January, I started to listen to my own advice when people asking me, what would you do if you were starting a podcast? And I said, I would start on YouTube. And I was like, you're an idiot. Why are you not doing this? So I upgraded some of my equipment. I tidied this home office, and obviously not a problem you have because all of your stuff looks beautiful.
Well, you know,
yeah, and
that's what I've done for a while.
And I thought, I'm going to do this on YouTube. So we launched that same email marketing show onto YouTube, and I started talking about it then. And that's when you realize. I've completely lost my train of thought, actually. What were we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know.
We were talking about...
We were talking about email's the best thing, and sales, and you don't have a business if you don't have sales, and why you relaunched as a video YouTube, not just...
I can't remember why we launched it. I can't remember why that was related. But my point is...
It happens.
Oh, yes. That's what I was talking about.
There you go.
It's difficult. Thank you for helping me there. You connect all the dots for me and you didn't even know it. Is the only way I was able to launch a new YouTube version of the podcast was because I could go to my email list and say, hey, I've just turned the email marketing show into a video as well. You want to go and watch it? And some people do. If I want to figure out, what shall I sell to my audience next? Maybe you don't know what you should sell next, or maybe you want to dial in your offer. Well, you could put together a quick question or a survey you could send out to your email list and say, hey, what do you want to learn about? What you're struggling with? But you can only do that if you've got an email list. Or if you want to launch a new offer, you can send that offer out to your email list. If you want to do anything, launch your book, do literally anything you want to do in your email list, in your business, your entire business. If you want, including finding staff, by the way, we found team members through saying, hey, we're recruiting for this thing because it looks good to your list. Oh, everybody's, they're growing, they're doing a good job. And also you'll find some good people who already get your world. Everything you could want to do in your business is easier once you've got an email list, and an email list who you've kept in touch with, who you've got strategic relationships with, who you've put specific things in place with, to open your emails, click on your links, engage with your emails, and take action. Once you've got that, everything else in your business is easier. Think about it. Are any of the things that I've just mentioned more difficult with email marketing? No, they're all easier. All of them. So that's why it's so important, I think.
Yeah. So if you had to start an email list from scratch today, no subscribers, no audience, what would you do in your first 30 days?
In my first 30 days? Yeah, well, the good news is everybody has been there.
Yeah.
And we all get our first email subscriber. But unlike YouTube or Instagram or any social platform, nobody can tell.
True. So true.
Right? So it feels you feel a bit like an idiot doing like, if you start a new Instagram account, you're like, hey, everybody, and you've got no followers.
I just did this for this business from my old one, right? I've got like 30,000 followers on my other one, and like 70 on this one. So like,
Exactly.
yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing.
Right?
But
Whereas
yeah,
an email list, nobody
yeah,
knows how many people are there. And the
true,
good news is, when you first start emailing your list, that's the worst you're ever going to be. And
true.
you may as well be your worst in front of
Yeah,
fewer people. So when you've
true.
got 3 people on your email list, go and be bad in front of them.
It's true. It's so true.
And by the time you've got 1,000, 5,000, 50,000 people on that list, you'll have become better.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So
True.
in order to grow the list, well, let's take a look at what we've done numerous times over and over and over again. Okay? That was in the magician's niche. That was in helping speakers. This was in helping salespeople. When I've run fitness programs for my ex-girlfriend. She wasn't my ex at the time. That would be weird.
That would be weird.
And now for email marketing heroes over the
Yeah.
past years, and with various clients. What do we do? Well, we start off by going, first of all, I don't think you need to start off running ads. I really don't. I think the first thing we can do is realize that somebody has already assembled the people who are in your ideal audience somewhere else. So let's say you help single parents, single fathers. Let's say you help single fathers. Well, there's going to be a bunch of places that these people are already hanging out. There's going to be Facebook groups for them. There's going to be people's Instagram accounts that they're already following. There's going to be paid coaching programs. There's going to be events. There's going to be local meetups. Online and offline, there are already people who have assembled your audience. And
True.
all you need to do is go and stand in front of them and talk.
Fair.
That's all you need to do. Because
Right.
when you do that, you get to talk with these people and you get to find out what their current struggles are, and you get to sort of understand, okay, they really care about this, but they don't care about that. So your whole thing is to go and show up in front of other people's audiences. That's why I've appeared on I don't know, probably 1,000 podcasts. I've given guest trainings inside of hundreds of paid communities. I've spoken on stage in front of, audiences of multiple thousands of most of the most prestigious marketing events in the world. Not just because I like the applause, but because all of these people who someone else has gone to the great trouble of assembling
True.
could be great leads for me. And when they get to meet you, and the better thing, not only is that free, and you can pay to get in front of people's audience as well. I've done that several times. But not only is that access to these people without paying for ads and gambling on ads, even better in the early days of your business is when those people come in having already seen you, they are warmer, so they convert way higher. So you
Right.
don't even have to have such an intensive sales mechanism that's super dialed in, because in your early part of your business, your messaging is not going to be dialed in, your sales
Right.
process is not going to be dialed in. So other people's audiences.
Yeah, other people's audiences for sure. So, yeah, that's one thing. So, podcast interviews, summits, bundles, guest posting, Facebook groups, like all those things have been, I know every time there's, I've done a podcast interview for my other business when I had books to launch or whatever. Like that was huge in growing my email list when I got to go be a guest somewhere else. It's true. Yeah, other people's audiences. Great. One of the things I love is you have like fun, memorable campaign names in your teaching. So, what's one of your favorites and why does it work so well? Like you're really good at naming things.
Yeah, and I love naming things. Like,
Yeah, you could tell.
It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine today because I've got a new idea for a new program, and I was saying this is what I think it could be called, and she was like, "Oh my god, this," and I was like, I just spend way too much. If I spent as much time on everything else in my life as I do on naming stuff and having fun with naming stuff, I would be thinner, I'd be fitter, I'd be richer, I'd be more handsome. I'd be so much everything else. If I just didn't spend so much time naming things. I mean, my favorite name for anything I've ever created.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this literally with a friend today, because unfortunately the offer at the moment, and this will change, kind of is irrelevant. It's an irrelevant offer. It's been made irrelevant by AI.
Okay.
Because it was a specific process that I created to batch create lots of email ideas for
I think I know which one this one is.
Yeah, and so I called it. So I called it "Batch It Crazy."
Yeah.
Right? Batch It Crazy.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite one I've ever come up
Yeah.
with. But what's interesting for me is not only are they fun, memorable names, but they also work on another level, which is they purposely are metaphors to remind you and hook you into what that thing does and how it works. So it's not just called batshit crazy because it's about batching or because it sounds like the phrase batshit crazy. It reminds you of of certain elements of the framework. And it's the same with all of my campaigns. Like we have a campaign called the Fanfare campaign, and that's and it's all about initially introducing your offer to your audience in a very particular way, so that everybody understands what it is, how it works, and why they should buy it. Yeah. So I mean, I think we've got so many different names and so many different.
Yeah.
Things. But yeah, batshit crazy is one of my favorites.
Yeah. I love that. Okay, so let's see. How about many people think of emails sort of as a welcome sequence, weekly newsletter, and promo emails, right? Like, I'm going to do like a 3-day welcome sequence. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that word today. A weekly newsletter kind of thing, like I said, with like all these links. And then, every once in a while, they'll send out a promo email for something like I launched a new book or I launched a new course. You teach it very different in bringing people into your emails and your stuff. Like, can you walk us through sort of what makes your approach stick? You don't have to tell, you don't have to give away everything, but like what makes the way that you do like that sort of intro into your email world work so well?
Yeah, so there's two elements to all of our email marketing, okay? I don't mind sharing, as much as we can in the time we've got because I just want people to be able to do this. So the first bit is we should have a systematic way that when someone joins your email list, we give them a good orientation into what the offer is, okay? For example, years ago, I saw an ad, and I joined the guy's list because he was doing one of those free online challenges, okay? So I was joining his list. The first email I get from this guy after opting into his list, so I'm like, get on the landing page, I put my email address in, my first email is, bonus 3 is expiring at midnight. And I'm like... What's bonus 2? What's bonus 1? What the heck's the offer? Like, what is this thing, right?
Oh, no.
It was very strange. It was very difficult for me to buy because I felt like I was joining a conversation as an outsider, which is not a very easy way to buy anything. So what we want to do is that we have to realize that when someone joins your email list, that is when you will have more of their attention than at any time, any point in the future. Okay? Think about your own behavior. You join someone's email list, the first few days you're reading all their emails. Then after a few days you start reading every few emails, and then after a week it's like, and before if you look at the engagement, whatever the opposite to curve is, the engagement cliff that people fall off. And that's the reason that most people have between a 20 and 55% email open rate, which basically means most people have fallen off that engagement cliff and are no longer paying attention to your emails. Right. That's the reason that your open rate is what it is because of that level of engagement that we lose. Therefore, it makes perfect sense, and this is what basically no one's doing, this is what we innovated in our business and have installed into many people's businesses now with our clients, is this idea that when someone joins your email list, rather than trying to eke their attention a little bit longer and try and do... Because that's like the little... It's not going to move much. The thing that really moves the needle is, what if you just show them the best opportunity to buy while you've got most of their attention?
Right.
So what we do is we take people through a principle that we call psych stacking. And this psych stacking thing is... Basically, we don't all buy everything for the same reason. So the other week... Well, actually, a few months ago... I went into a store and I wanted to buy some new sneakers, and they were like a designer brand sneaker because they're really comfy, and I was like, I'm going to buy these sneakers. And I was buying them for comfort and for status. That's why we buy designer things, okay? But at the same time, I'm about to go and pay for these things, and they're like $200 or whatever they were. And for me, that's a lot of money on sneakers. Like, that's a lot of money to me. And so they... On the way to buy these things, I pick up these. I noticed these Adidas Gazelles are like $20 or $30. Like they're in the sale, like they're discounted, and I buy them too. I mean, look at me. I'm the same guy. I'm on Oxford Street in London in the
Yeah.
JD Sports store, and I'm buying two different pairs of footwear. But my buyer trigger, the thing that's caused me to buy for each of those things, is different. One of them is because it's in a discount, and the other one is because of status and a whole bunch of other buyer motivators.
Right. Right.
And it's the same with your subscribers. Someone joins your email list, and some of them will be urgently looking to buy something because they've joined your email list to find out what you've got because they've got an urgent problem that they believe you can solve and they're ready to solve it.
Right.
And then you've got a bunch of other people who are not ready to buy unless you say the specific thing with a specific angle that makes them realize, oh, that's for me.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is have a series of different email sequences made up of 6 or more emails, which each targets a different buyer trigger, a different reason that different people buy. Okay, and what most people actually do is they will generally have like one email that hits each buyer trigger. The problem is if 40% of your list are opening your emails, it means most people are not even seeing that one email.
Yes.
So you need to spend several emails talking about each buyer trigger to make sure everybody gets to see something about it, and so they have the opportunity to buy. Once they have gone through this, and this is usually like a 30, maybe sometimes 45-day sequence of different email campaigns. All we do then is put them into your live list. And that's when we get into the second phase of this, which is what do you do in your day-to-day emails? Right. Well, the answer to that is you have a strategy which combines sending sequence campaigns of emails, which each trigger a different buyer trigger.
Yeah.
And you do stuff in between them.
Right.
So each month you might say, I'm going to do one email campaign promotion launchy thing.
Yeah.
Tell people about the offer. Well, what are you going to do the rest of the time? Well, the rest of the time, you need to be doing stuff that increases and deepens our relationship, increases our credibility, increases the desire and status of what we're doing. And that means that when it is time for us to make an offer, that people are still paying attention. Because people, it's so interesting, Chandler. People say to me, oh, emailing really often really annoys people. It pisses them off and it makes them switch off. Do you know what? It's more annoying? The person you never hear from apart from when they want something.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's so
the person
true.
who goes quiet and then you're like, oh, I know when he's doing a sale because that's when he emails me.
True. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like you also teach it in such a way, like there's stories involved and there's like things. And so it's not even when it is the other sequences coming in, it's like, you're not always like, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. Right. Like it's done in such a good way that people are like, oh, like I've employed like a bunch of your methods and I get a message that's like, this was so well written. I loved it. They didn't buy a thing because, they're not
ready.
But they're like, I loved this. Like it spoke. I'm like, okay, awesome.
Yeah,
like you said, building a relationship.
They think people join their email list and that sort of 30 to 45-day sequence of emails should all be just different reasons to buy it. No. What we have to do is we might spend 6 days initially saying, here's what I've got for sale. So that every email you send from then on has the context of that. We talked about the fanfare campaign earlier. The fanfare campaign is a 6-email framework which introduces your offer. And it means that whichever emails you send in the future, they benefit from the context you created for every subscriber. So I can send any email I want to my list because I know that every one of them knows what my offer is because I told them in that sequence. But what we mustn't do is have it so that they finish that fanfare, that initial sequence where we give them what the offer is about. We can't just keep beating them over the head with here's another reason to buy, another reason to buy, because what will happen? People will unsubscribe. They'll report you as spam. They'll get really unhappy. So we have to keep refreshing people's brains. We have to keep refreshing attention. We have to appeal to other things in people's psychologies that doesn't look like we're always selling. But, and here's the really important part, we can't do it in a way that adds to their distraction and overwhelm. So the answer is not, oh, just show up and give them some value. The problem with that is if you imagine all of your prospective customers are wandering around the internet seeing ads saying this, and another ad says you should do it this way, and high ticket's the only way, low ticket's the only way, it needs to be continuity, it needs to be a membership, no, it shouldn't be, don't do sales calls, you should do sales calls. People are overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the reason they're overwhelmed is because they don't have a plan. And what they have joined your world for, the reason they've joined your email list, the reason they followed you in the first place and then joined your email list, is because they can see you've got a plan. And
So
when
true.
you become the person with the plan, you're the person to follow.
Right.
So they join your email list because you've got a plan. If you're following a tour guide and they've got the plan, they've got the map in front of them,
Yeah.
you don't want them to go, right, this is where we should be going because down here we're going to go to Main Street and it's going to be great down here. Oh, and if you want, there's a thing over there you really don't care about. No, I came to you for the plan.
Right.
Keep to the path. Keep to the road. Your job as the educator, your job as the leader of this group is to keep them on the path and remove distraction, because the distractions are obstacles. And when there's obstacles, people fall back, people fall down, people can't get over the obstacles. So if you just show up and give value, it's one of the biggest mistakes I ever see. And it's the biggest thing that's costing most people more sales than anything else is giving value.
Okay.
You can give value as long as it's strategic value that keeps them on the path, helps them understand, helps them overcome an objection, helps them do various things which keep them on the path toward the goal that they've got. That's our job. That's our duty as a person who helps somebody.
I love that, because you're so right about the overwhelm. Like, in starting this new business, I'm like, well, there's this business person and there's this business person, and they're all saying different things. And like you said, low ticket, high ticket, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh my gosh, like, so, and I think this speaks to to the other business owners who are listening too, like, choose a path to follow, choose someone to follow. Don't try and bounce all over too, right? Like, and be confused.
I mean, look, if you're going to do a jigsaw puzzle, you get a jigsaw puzzle, which has got a lovely picture of the Eiffel Tower on the outside. You open it and you start putting it together, and it'll work. Whereas if you got 200 different jigsaw puzzles, one's the Eiffel Tower, one's the Arc de Triomphe, one's the Statue of Liberty, one's the Golden Gate Bridge. If you did two, and you tried to take one piece from each of them and put them together, it's not going to look like any of them. They're not going to fit together. No one's going to understand it. It's not going to get to anything that you want to even put together. That's what most people are trying to do. Most people are trying to Frankenstein their business.
Yes. No, it's so true. Yeah. Okay. I know we're running out of time. So let me see. Okay. So how about, since we need to wrap up, how about if someone wants to, listening, wants to sort of learn what you do, find yourself on the internet, where is the best place for them to start? Where should they look for you? Which of your things should they look at potentially purchasing? Where can they find you?
Sure. I mean, definitely come and check out the podcast. You can find it on YouTube or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the usual places. Anywhere you want to find a podcast. If you want to see me blathering on with fancy graphics and stuff, you can do it on YouTube. Just search for The Email Marketing Show. That's definitely a good place. Another one is, you might have thought of, some of today's conversation might have triggered some thoughts for you and potentially some questions of overwhelm. And I would hate to leave you just hanging with like, oh my gosh, how do I apply this to my business? So I have a free Facebook group with thousands of people in it, and that's what we do in that group every single day. I'm in there answering questions, helping people out with stuff for free because it's fun. So if you can literally go and search for that on Facebook, it's called The Email Marketing Show Community. So literally open up Facebook, search for The Email Marketing Show Community, and just request to join. You'll have the choice, and you don't have to, but you'll have the option of entering your email address to get my emails, to see how I do this, to see why it's different, how it's so impactful and effective, and I think you'll enjoy that. So yeah, Email Marketing Show Community is a pretty good place to start.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. I will make sure I put that in the show notes too, so that everyone can find it easily. So,
Beautiful.
Kennedy, thank you so much for being on the show today. That was a lot of awesome information. I love learning from you, and I'm sure my audience will too. Thank you so much for coming.
Hey, my pleasure.
That's it for today on The Shannon Atchison Show. If you found this helpful, follow the show and share it with a friend. And hey, if you're not sure what kind of business actually fits your life, take the free quiz at shannonatchison.com. It'll point you in the right direction. Thanks for listening. Talk again soon.